Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US National Hurricane Center says catastrophic hurricane-force winds have hit Jamaica, causing devastation to large parts of the island. Jamaica's Minister of Health said yesterday that 3 people had died while preparing for the approaching storm. Hurricane Melissa is predicted to be one of the most powerful to hit Jamaica on record. The storm is very slow-moving, making it even more dangerous. Many people have evacuated, but around 1,000 people remain holed up in shelters on the island.
Every Jamaican, I believe, understands how this threat is severe.
Well, in addition to being a dangerous and very powerful Category 5 hurricane, Melissa is remarkable. The sense that it is moving so very slowly. How slowly? 3 miles per hour, essentially a walking pace. Typically, hurricanes, tropical systems moving through the Caribbean will be moving 5, maybe 10 times faster than that. So as devastating as the rain and wind will become as it comes through, it is going to be a prolonged period of intense rain and wind, which will unfortunately magnify the amplitude of the danger that lies ahead and the just terrible impacts. We're very concerned about a humanitarian crisis in the wake of this very slow-moving, very powerful and dangerous hurricane.
A man accused of killing the former Japanese president Shinzo Abe has pleaded guilty on the first day of his trial. Tetsuya Yamagami told a court in the capital Tokyo that everything is true. Yamagami used a homemade gun to shoot Abe during a political campaign event in the western city of Nara in 2022. Abe, who was known for his hawkish foreign policy and signature economic strategy that popularly became known as Abenomics, was struck several times and died in hospital later the same day, sending shockwaves around the world. Sudan's military chief has confirmed the army's withdrawal from its last western stronghold of El-Fasher after the paramilitary rapid support forces declared control of the city. In a televised address on Monday evening, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said he had approved the withdrawal in response to the systematic destruction and killing of civilians. Residents who fled El-Fasher say they are fearful and distressed after losing contact with relatives still stuck in the city. Yale University's Humanitarian Research Lab said satellite imagery shows a mass killing has been carried out since El-Fasher fell. Officials have said a plane crash near Kenya's coast has killed 10 European tourists and a local pilot. Local media have published images of the plane in flames with debris scattered at the site of the crash. The aircraft was flying from the popular beach resort town of Diani to an airstrip in the world-famous Masai Mara game park when it went down at 5:30 a.m. local time. Mombasa Air Safari said the plane was carrying 8 Hungarians, 2 Germans and a Kenyan pilot, all of whom have died in the crash. 10 people accused of sexist cyberbullying of the French president's wife, Brigitte Macron, are due to go on trial in Paris. The defendants are accused of spreading unsubstantiated claims over her gender and sexuality, as well as making malicious remarks about the 24-year age gap between Brigitte and her husband Emmanuel Macron. If found guilty, the defendants face up to 2 years imprisonment. Ivory Coast's President Alassane Ouattara has secured a 4th term following an election in which 2 of the biggest challengers were barred from running. 83-year-old Ouattara won 89.8% of the vote, the Electoral Commission said on Monday, and businessman Jean-Louis Billon came a distant second with just over 3%. The landslide victory is not a huge surprise, as after being banned from the presidential race, the former president and another candidate urged their supporters to boycott the vote entirely. There have been violent protests in Cameroon after the country's 92-year-old president won a controversial 8th term. The Constitutional Council declared Paul Biya, who is the world's oldest head of state, won 53.7% of the vote, compared to the 35% of the opposition leader, Isachimo Bakary. Before the announcement, Bakary, a former Biya ally, insisted he had won the election. And 2 cooling towers of a nuclear plant have been demolished in Germany, having been a fixture of the landscape since 1980. Thick clouds of white smoke and dust rose into the air as the towers collapsed during a controlled demolition with explosives. The nuclear plant has been offline for 4 years, its demolition part of Germany's phasing out of nuclear energy. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.